In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, we're doing a special collaboration with these two lovely ladies from Crafting Cousins. But first, we're going to work on a few projects. In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, we're going to take an old cutting board and turn it into a little witchy fall home decor decoration. Then we'll take these candles we got from the thrift store along with these cans, and then we'll turn them into new, wonderful smelling canned candles. And lastly, I'll take this burlap bag and grain sack that I got from Springfield and we'll turn them into beautiful pumpkins. So you ready for our special fall edition in our collaboration featuring Crafting Cousins? Well then, let's go ahead and do this. Just a quick note before we get started. If you're new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. I hope that you'll consider subscribing. I post new videos every week, and if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I post one. All right, if you remember a few videos back, I had one of these and I did a home sign. Well, there was another one and I purchased that, and this time we are going to make this into a Halloween one, a fall one. Okay, so we are going to paint this with black velvet paint. It's do-it-yourself. We're going to paint the entire thing. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and then we will flip it over and paint the back. All right, this is completely dry. I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to paint the back. There's a cute little shop by my house called Sweet Sassy Treasures, so while I was there, look what I got. Is that so cool? Oh my gosh. So, I thought what would look awesome, we'll take our board and we'll cut one of the girls out of here and paste that on there like that. I think it'll look awesome. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna cut this out here. We're gonna cut as close as we can. Okay, she's completely cut out. And you know, these papers are only like $1.50. Again, you can get them at Sweet Sassy Treasures, and I'll put a link in the description. So we could just kind of put her on here, like maybe even wrap her around. But what you want to do first is you want to put some clear coat on here. So we're going to put some clear coat, and I'll be back. All right, so I just got done spraying this outside on the back of our image. The reason you use a sealer is because when you're transferring it with some Mod Podge, you just don't want any bubbles, and this helps prevent it. So we have our board all painted, and we have our image cut out. However, it's hard to see this hat on there. So I'm going to take a little of this DIY paint, and we're just going to kind of like use a stencil brush and just outline it. I guess I had a little powder on there. Okay. I think, so I know where we're going with this, I'm gonna just outline this. Then I know where to highlight the paint. Now I know where our image is going, so we'll take some of this paint that I got from Sweet Sassy Treasure, and I'm just gonna kind of use the stencil brush to dab along it. Okay, so I'm just dipping my brush into this paint, and I'm gonna wipe some of that off because I only want just a light. It's just gonna be an outline. Just stippling this on here. And then I'm going to stipple over it with a little of the same paint that we painted the board. That'll kind of blend it a little. So now I'm going to dip my brush into the black paint here. I'm going to brush some of that off on this tin foil, and then we're going to go over it again. So this kind of just helped blend that so it's just not like stark white. Well, I actually used like an off-white, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so let's put that on there again. Let's see what we have. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna take some Mod Podge. I'm gonna put it on the back of my witch here, and then we're gonna put it on the board. Before we add that image, I think I'm gonna wanna seal this real quick. I'm gonna use some of that Annie Sloan clear wax. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of that clear wax on this board just to kind of seal it.
Okay, we're just going to use our Mod Podge.
We're going to put it all directly on the back of this image here. Okay, I'm going to place this like right here so that the shadow is just on the opposite side. And then take a little Mod Podge and go right over your image. And we're gonna let that dry.
Okay, so look at these orange balls that I got at Hobby Lobby. They were $11.99, but I got them on half off day. I think they're gonna look awesome put together with this.
Okay, so she is completely dry, and then as you know, I have these dried, I don't know what they're called, but they're so cool. I've cut them to size, and we're just gonna put them on the side of our board like so. And then I'm gonna take some jute and we're gonna tie that around. So I'm just going to wrap that around so that it will hold it in place.
wrap it around a few times, real tight. And even go around this end, just hold that in place. I'll pull on that. And then let's tie that. So I think that looks really cool. Okay, so we're just gonna add a hang tag to this project. You know, I love using hang tags. I think it just gives it a nice finished look. I came up with these. I think these are really cute, and I think we're gonna probably use this one here. So I'm just gonna cut it out. And again, these are in my Etsy store. It's $2.50, and you just download it, and then you're gonna cut it out like so. And then I have one of these paper punchers that I got at the dollar store. It was only $1. And you're just going to take that, make a little hole in here, and then we take a little jute and we're going to put it through the hole. And we'll cut the, then you have a cute little hang tag to put on your stuff. I think this one is really cool with the 31 and the crow and the pumpkin. And it comes with all these too. So you can add them to all your Halloween decor. We're going to add that to our project.
Today, we're doing a little collaboration with our friends Trish and Kay from Crafting Cousins. We're teaming up to do a fall trash to treasure theme. I'll be doing my own projects over here, and they'll be doing a fall trash to treasure over there. So if you haven't heard of Crafting Cousins, then you're going to want to hop on over there and check them out after this video. They do a lot of quick and easy do-it-yourself home decor projects, and they post 3 videos a week. So I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can go check them out. Make sure you tell them that Flea Market Rescue sent you. And if you're coming from Crafting Cousins, I just want to welcome you to my channel. I hope that you'll consider subscribing. I post new videos every week, and if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Now let's continue on with our projects. So I saved these 2 cans, and we're going to make candles out of them. First off, I want to say I am not an expert candle maker, but this is just something that I do, and I'm sharing with you. So we're going to start by removing the labels off the cans. Then you're just going to wash those out really good.
When I used to make dolls, we used to take safety pins and we would make them old and rusty so that we could hang a hang tag off our doll and it would look old and vintage. So I'm going to take the same technique I used to do with the safety pins, and we're going to try to make these cans old. We'll probably end up using cinnamon in the end, but this will get a good start for them to be looking really old. So I have a little bit of this vinegar that we're gonna put on them. I have a little tin foil here. I'm just gonna kind of make a little boat. I'm gonna take our can. We're gonna pour a little of that vinegar on them. And then I'm gonna take some salt, and I'm just gonna put some salt on this too. I'm going to do the same thing with this other can we have. Just put a little vinegar, add some salt, and we are going to leave this stuff outside for a good week in the elements. Okay, so I have these outside and we'll see what happens. Okay, so this is like a week of them being outside in salt and vinegar. And although those are great, I just want it to be a little more rusty. So we're gonna use a little Mod Podge and some cinnamon to just kind of make this a little more grubby. If I had left them out maybe, you know, a couple weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this probably would have been totally rusted over. But because of time, I'm gonna have to just use the cinnamon and Mod Podge. So let's get to that. Okay, so I have this Mod Podge here. I'm just gonna dip my brush in here. And in the spots that it's really not that rusty, I'm just gonna put a little Mod Podge on there. And then we're gonna add a little cinnamon on top. You just wanna get a little ground cinnamon, like you can go to Walmart and get it for $1, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna keep doing that until these look nice and grubby here. And then once we get done doing this process, I'm gonna put a little clear coat over it. Okay, I think these both look really nice and grubby. Again, I'm going to spray them with clear coat and then we'll move on to the next process. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this Krylon sealer and we're just going to spray it all over the cans so that we can seal in that cinnamon. Okay, I bought this candle at the thrift store for $1.99. When you buy candles at the thrift store, they don't even smell anymore. So this one, nope, doesn't really have a smell, but I love the color of it. And so we're gonna melt this down. I bought a pot at the thrift store here, and we paid $1.99 on it. We're gonna melt our candle down in that pot. I mean, for $2, I don't care about the pot. And you're probably wondering, well, what good is it if it doesn't have any smell? Well, when we were in Texas, guess what? We came across this booth. It had the most amazing orange pill kind of smell. You could just like stand in her booth forever. It had such a great smell. So I bought this oil. It's called Dolly's Spiced Orange, and she has her phone number on there. Thank God for that, because I lost her card. But I'm gonna link her website in the description in case you wanna get some. This smell is amazing. So we're gonna melt this candle down, and then we're gonna add a little of this to it. It's gonna be amazing. While the sealer's drying outside, we started to heat up our pan. We're gonna do this on a very low heat, and we're just gonna melt this candle entirely so that we can pour them into those cans. So I'm just gonna let that just melt. And I did buy a few other candles that we're gonna throw in there too, because we have to fill 2 cans. I picked up this hodgepodge. So I have this one, I have this one. Actually, this is more of a orange candle, but it's looking yellow on film. This one looks perfect. So anyway, we're gonna throw these in there in our melting pot. If you find any candles that are stuck in a jar like this, all you have to do is just scoop them out with a spoon and they'll melt as well. See how that just come off in like one big chunk? Okay, everything is melting nicely. So we'll just keep that on low heat and keep melting these. Okay, so our cans are completely dry with that sealer. I think that came out really nice and grubby, just how we wanted it. So the next thing we need to do is we're gonna put our labels on. I created these labels for the cans. I think they're really cool. You get 2, and they're $1.50 in my Etsy store. You know, as a download, you would just download it, print it out, and we're gonna do exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna cut it on my cutter here. This is like the best cutter because it's so precise. There's like a little wire here that you just line it up on there, and it cuts it exact. There's no guessing or anything. Look at that, perfect. Anyone who wants to get this cutter, I definitely suggest this one. Again, it's so precise. We'll cut the ends off here. Okay, so that's one label for the can. Let's cut out the other one, and then we're gonna Mod Podge those on. Okay, and we have the second one done. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this cutter here. And then we're gonna take our Mod Podge again, and we're gonna just Mod Podge these on here. I think they're gonna look awesome. Okay. Okay, just look at what side would be the best, which one you like the best. Probably right here is a good one, I would say. So let's put some Mod Podge all on the back of this. You're just gonna put that Mod Podge all over the back of your label. I printed this on regular paper. You do not need cardstock or anything like that. Just a simple, just plain paper. So I'm gonna put that over this, and then you're just gonna line that up in the back there. How easy is that? Now we're just going to put a little Mod Podge on the front to seal that. And we're just going to let that dry. Okay, so we're going to take our label here and we're going to put a little Mod Podge on the back.
And we're just going to repeat the same process.
Okay, we'll let that dry. Okay, it is looking really good. It's almost melted. I'm just going to take the stick I've been using to mix it around. This was actually our big candle, and as you can see, it's almost melted. I have another one in there.
The Mod Podge is all dried, and I just have to show you how cool these look. So grubby, they're going to be perfect.
And then we're just going to pour our candle wax in here. I have these wicks that we'll put one in each. And I think it's going to be awesome. But didn't the cans come out nice?
I heard from other candle makers that you want to get your temperature up to 180. That way the fragrance will bond really well with the wax.
I wish you could smell how wonderful this is. It just smells great. So I'm going to mix that all in with the stick. Oh, it smells like fresh orange pills. It smells so good in here. And that's all you have to do to freshen up a candle. Okay, so I have these wicks that I bought. I'm just gonna kind of measure what I need. We're gonna cut like this. Maybe one, we'll cut another one, same size. And that'll be perfect. We're gonna repurpose everything. So I have these right here. I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue and secure these onto there. So I probably should have looked for the candle wicks that had one of these, but since I didn't, and this is all I have, we're gonna do this. Again, we're repurposing things, so it's fine. We're only making 2 candles. So I'm gonna just put a little glue right here. And then I'm gonna add the wick. Okay, I'm going to do that with the other one that we cut. I'm going to add a little glue here. And we'll put this one on top here. Again, probably look for the ones that have these already attached. It'll just make it a lot easier for you. Okay, I have this one and this one. We are gonna put a little glue on the bottom of this just to hold it in place in our can. I'm gonna place that down right in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. Placing that right in the middle there. I'm gonna press down. I'm gonna get my stick. Get my stick here. Press that down so that stays right in the middle. Very nice. See how we have that in there? We're going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm just going to put a little glue on the bottom here just to hold that in place. I'm going to drop that down. And then I'm going to take that stick and just press that to the bottom of the can. Okay, so I have this dowel rod. It's just a skinny little dowel rod. We are gonna put it over the cans. After we pour them, we're gonna wrap this around like this so that the wick will stay right in the middle. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and pour our candle. Go and pour some more in here. Then we're going to take our stick, and like I said, we're going to wrap that around. Keep that in the middle. We'll do the same thing with the other one. Okay, that probably should be good.
I added a little more so that we would have the candle wax right up to the top.
Okay, we have them all poured, and we're just gonna let them like harden up.
After these dried, I noticed that the middle kind of sunk in a little, so I had to add a little more candle wax in there.
Okay, so our candles are now dry. We're just gonna take this out, and I'm just gonna peel away the extra wax here. And then we'll cut the wick. So you just want a normal wick, probably like that. Do that like that. And here we go. We got 2 awesome candles. Brand new with scent. Look at that.
If you remember last week, we were in Springfield and I came across these burlap sacks. They were only $3 and I knew they were going to make the perfect pumpkin. I also came across these too.
All right, I found these grain sacks. Look at these. They're old, they're vintage. They have the stripe going through. We're gonna make pumpkins. They're gonna look awesome. Okay, so if you remember, I went to Springfield last week and I picked up this burlap sack for $3. And then I also picked up this, I don't know if it's a flour sack, I don't know. But it has that grain stripe. You'll remember me in the video last week telling you that we're gonna make some pumpkins. Well, the time is now. We are gonna make some pumpkins. Okay, so this is not a sewing tutorial. I don't know how to do any of these stitches. However, I know how to do a great straight stitch. And that's all you really need to know. If you remember me telling you, I used to be a doll maker. I used to sell primitive dolls, and my dolls would go for like $350, and that's when they were really hot. So I have done a lot of sewing in my time. So you just drop your bobbin in here, and then you pull your thread to the left, and then you take your thread. I don't have much left on this one, but we'll use it up. And then you just wind it through your machine. I'm trying to do this with my left hand so I can tape so you can see. It's so easy. You just take your thread, go through those, go down, go up. It'll hook through this. You come back down, and then you would just want to put it through your needle. So once you have that on there, I actually lost the foot. So I've been using this weird foot. I don't know. It does the job, that's all I know. Okay. You lower the needle through, it grabs the bobbin, you pull that through, and then you put your little piece back on. You are ready to sew. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut circles out of these. So let's do that now. Okay, so I kind of want some of this grain stripe to be visible on our pumpkin. So we're gonna cut out a circle using that. Kind of tough binding here. Oh, sorry. So I have what is like a circle. I'll flip this around like that. And we're gonna sew that on the machine. You ready? Let's do this. Now, it really doesn't matter on this here what side we sew on because they're basically the same. Yeah, they're basically the same. So, okay, let's go ahead and start sewing. We're gonna leave a little opening, however, so that we can stuff this. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Let's do this. You always want to back stitch just to lock in your stitching like that. Just a few stitches. And then we're going to go around in a complete circle. Okay, like I said, we are going to leave a little opening. I'm going to back stitch right here to leave an opening. We're going to leave this part right open so we can stuff some stuffing in there. I'm going to continue on. This has a hard seam, so we're just going to kind of go through that too. I mean, not go through it, but just go right by it. Cut my thread from the previous. Getting bound up there. And again, we're just going to back stitch right here. So now we have a full circle. We have a full circle all sewn around, as you can see, and then we left our opening right here for stuffing. So I'm going to turn this inside out. I'm going to do that here for you so you can see. I'm just going to stick my hand in there. I'm going to grab it and pull it. You know, just to let you know, when you go around, when you have like curved surfaces, sometimes it puckers. So you could actually just take your scissors and don't go all the way up to the stitching because this is burlap and it's kind of like a loose fabric. Make a few little cuts. That way it's not gonna bind up on you. Get little bunches. Okay. So again, I'm gonna just stick my hand in there and I'm gonna pull this out. We're gonna turn this inside out. This is a tougher material, so you might have to work on it to turn it. I did leave a big enough opening, so we shouldn't have that much of a problem. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we have our circle. Now remember we have our opening here. So it looks a little funny, like it's sticking up, but we're gonna turn that inside like this once we're done stuffing it. And then we are gonna just hand stitch it closed. We'll just hand stitch it closed. So I'm gonna get my stuffing and we're gonna stuff this baby. Okay, we're gonna stuff this with some of this polyfill. Polyfill is really the best that you can use. I've used other brands and they bind up, they bunch up. This is like nice and smooth, so my recommendation, polyfill. I used to get it in 5-pound boxes when I used to make my dolls. See, will not bunch. That's what you want. Other ones, when I would make dolls, the legs would have like big lumps. It looked like cellulite. It's just not good. This really is the best. Now you're gonna think I'm crazy, but you wanna buy just like an unscented kind of kitty litter. When I used to do dolls, when you just stuff them with polyfill, they'd be so light, and people equate like heaviness with quality. So we would weight our dolls down with just plain old cat litter. So you're just gonna wanna put a cup inside here. That'll give it the weight to hold down. And then we're gonna do the polyfill. And let's go ahead and do that. So you don't want a pumpkin that is like so light that people pick it up and go, oh, this is cheap. This kitty litter is just gonna give it some weight and make it appear that it has some quality. Okay. So we have our kitty litter in our circle, and now we're gonna use this polyfill, and we're just gonna stuff this whole thing here. If it's not completely round, don't worry about it, because we're going to take jute and we're going to tie it up, so that can definitely hide some of your imperfections if you know you're having trouble with it being symmetrical. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to use a little more back here though, because it's not high here. Okay, then we're going to take a little bit of needle and thread, and we're just going to sew this up here. And then we're going to take some jute and tie this up. Okay, so I have this really long needle. I like to use the bigger ones. And get my thread here. So you just want to start like that. Gonna turn the inside, we're not gonna have the raw edge out like this. We're turning this inside like so, and we're sewing it together like that. Now I'm gonna just go back over this because I want to get this down a little. So I'm going to go back through and just tighten this stitch up. And then you're just going to tie it off. What I normally do to really secure it is I take 1/2. I don't just cut it like that. I open it up. See how there's two pieces? And I cut one piece. Sorry, this is a little twisted. But anyway, so I take the other half and go through, then I tie it. That just assures that it's not going to slip. And then just tie it in a good knot and then cut it off. So we have our whole circle all done. Now we're going to take some jute and tie it up. Then we're going to make a little hole in the middle here, and we're going to glue in like a branch, a stick. Just another suggestion, you could always stamp something on your burlap. You know, there's a lot of good IOD stamps. You could stamp something on there, have writing if it doesn't have, you know, like this only had like a grain stripe, which is totally fine with me. But again, if you want some lettering on there, you could just stamp something on there. Okay, so we're going to take our jute and we are going to start by going around the middle. Okay, so we have it around the middle. I'm going to push this back. We'll do it right here. Have it around the middle. Now, what you want to do is go around this side. So now we have it in quarters. Okay, see how we have that? Now we're going to go into one more. We're going to go diagonally. And then I'm going to just cut this jute and we're going to tie it. You're going to pull pretty taut on this. Now when you pull tight on that, it's going to pucker a little, but that's okay because you can kind of like fix it up a bit. These are so simple to make, very easy breezy. You know, you sew around your circle, you stuff it, and you basically tie jute around it. Okay, so we have our pumpkin shape right here. See how that looks like a pumpkin? Now all we need is a stem right in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and get a branch, and then we're going to cut a little hole and glue that right in the center there. So I cut some sticks here. We're going to add this one in. I'm going to make a little hole, and then we're going to use some hot glue secure it. So just gonna want to make a little hole. Don't cut your jute there. And then we're just gonna stick that in there. Then you can even finish by tying that around there and it'll be perfect. So we're going to use a little hot glue to secure this. And then we're going to add a hang tag because you know I love my hang tags. Okay, so we're going to take this out and we're going to glue it in. So I'm just going to squirt some glue in here. And we're going to take our stick, kind of wedge that in there. And like I said, you can even take this remainder of that jute and tie that around too. I think that's what we're gonna do. Just tie that around there. And voila, our pumpkin is awesome. But you know what we need? We're gonna get a hang tag. So for this one, let's see, what do I have left here? How about we just do the bat? Or the bat with the broom. I think that's a good one. So I'm just gonna cut that out. Use our little hole punch, and instead of using another piece of jute, I'm going to use the same piece of jute to add the hang tag. There we go. I think this came out really nice. And they're so simple to make. Again, you're just making a circle, you're stuffing it and tying some jute around it. I mean, how hard is that? Not hard at all. And the older the fabric you can get, the better it is.
Last year while I was in Springfield, I came across this like trio of pumpkins. I thought it was really cool, so I thought we'd make those too. So we're just going to take the grain sacks that I got at Springfield that have the writing on them, and we're going to do this. You didn't realize that we were spending the rest of the day together. All right, grab a snack, come on back. We only got 10 more minutes of this video.
Okay, so I like that this had writing on it. However, it is very stained. And you know what I think is so cute? Look at this. This got a hole in it and somebody patched it. How sweet. Anyway, we're gonna make pumpkins out of it. I'm gonna take the best part, so we have a little of this print on here, and we'll make a stack of pumpkins this time. Okay, so we are gonna make circles out of this, just like we did with the burlap. Okay, so I'm just cutting out a circle here. And you just kind of want to eyeball it. I mean, it's not an exact science of what you need to do. Again, just make a big enough one that when you sew it together, it's not going to be puny. Okay, so I have one circle. Now I need to be able to get some of this, but I really don't want that staining there. I mean, we can have a little bit of staining, but we don't want a lot. So I'm going to try to work around that. Now, we're going to be sewing on there, so it's actually okay that we use this. Okay, now we have another one. So we got one circle here, we got another circle that's slightly smaller, and then we need one little one. So I'm going to cut some of this again. This is going to be a little oblong, I would say. So let's trim this a little better. So now we have 3 circles. We have one large one, one medium one, and a smaller one that we're going to use. So let's get to sewing here. Now, unlike the burlap, this one here has to be turned because Otherwise, if we sew this all the way around and we turn it, we're not going to see this anymore. So we're going to flip right side to right side. Okay? That's what they call that in sewing. We're going to do that with this one too. I'm just going to flip that around. See, we want this nice green stripe. So right side to right side. I guess, look at that. It doesn't matter on this one here. It goes all the way through, but that's okay. And we want this writing here. So again, we're going to take this side and that side and flip it right sides touching. Okay, let's get to sewing. Okay, I'm just going to start sewing here. Turn that on. We already have it all. We're just going to go around in a complete circle. And remember, we are going to make an opening. I'm just doing the back stitch. You always got to back stitch it or your stitching will come out. Okay, I'm going to leave my opening probably about right here. I'm making a big enough opening that it's not going to be a problem to turn. Okay, that's one done. We'll leave that one to the side. We'll sew our medium one. We've got our middle one done. You see that? It's all, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it is stitched right here, all the way around. It's our middle one. And now we're going to do our small one, which is kind of oblong.
Now that we have all 3 circles sewn, we're just going to go around and clip around the edges. Now it's time to flip them all inside out so that we can stuff them.
And here's our one for the top.
So we're just going to fill these with kitty litter and then we're going to stuff them all. Then we're going to need to hand stitch these all shut just like we did on the burlap pumpkin. Okay, we're almost done. Now it's time to wrap our jute around there. We're just going to wrap it around once, and then we're going to wrap it around the opposite way, and then we're going to come in diagonally just like we did with the burlap pumpkin. We're going to tie that really taut, and we're going to do that on all 3 pumpkins. And just keep playing around with it just to get all the puckers out. We're just going to finish up this last one here.
I'm going to tie these together by just using a little jute here. And I might even hot glue them. Right now I'm just going to tie them together. think we'll probably glue them together, but at least they're together now. Okay, so we got our bottom pumpkin. We're gonna put these two on top. Okay, let's tie these together here. And we're gonna also glue them too. Those are tied down, but they really need to be glued down too. So we're going to do that. So let's go do that right now. Okay, so we need to glue these together. I'm just going to take my glue gun. I'm going to put some glue down here. And we're going to press down. We're going to hold that down. Then I'm going to also do it on this side as well. Then we're going to press down on that. Then we're going to put some glue right here to hold that top one on. Then we're going to hold that down. Some more glue. Okay, now all we need to do is make a little hole for our branch. We'll put that in as the stem.
So I'm just snipping a little hole in there. We have to make it big enough so we can get the branch in there. We're going to glue that in, and then we're going to add this hang tag.
And then I'm just going to use the same jute.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this special fall episode of Flea Market Rescue. If you get a chance, hop on over to our friends at Crafting Cousins. They have a lot of great do-it-yourself home decor projects. If you like this episode of Flea Market Rescue and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. I'm Kelly Sherry, and this has been Flea Market Rescue.